Hey there, Golden State superfans. It's your go-to voice for everything splashy. This is Warriors News Fan Report, and I hope you're geared up for some electrifying rumors that could rock Chase Center. Before we jump into the juicy details, do yourself a favor and smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you're always first in line when breaking news and hot takes drop right here on Warriors News Fan Report. All right, grab your headbands and lace up those Curry-branded kicks, because whispers have been swirling around the NBA world about a potential seismic shift in the Warriors lineup, something that has every die-hard Dub Nation member on the edge of their seat. I'm talking about the buzz that a familiar silhouette might be making its way back to the Bay Area, a veteran sharpshooter whose name we're going to hold off on for just a moment to build up the suspense. But trust me when I say, this is the kind of narrative twist no one saw coming, yet somehow feels inevitable. Let's rewind to the source of this chatter. A recent sporting news piece out of Brazil spotlighted a rising talent who's generated his own wave of excitement among Warriors brass. While that young prospect's potential is undeniable, it was the passing mention of an open roster spot and the veteran minimum exception that set off alarms in front offices and fan forums alike. Could it be that Golden State is eyeing an experienced champion to bridge the gap between their all-time greats and the next generation? Could they be preparing the perfect landing spot for a legend looking to rekindle past glory? Picture this scenario. The core triumvirate of Curry, Green, and Thompson has carried the franchise through dynastic peaks, but with Klay sidelined by injuries and exploring free agency options, there's been a void, not just in scoring, but in the intangible swagger that only a longtime Warrior brings. Fans have debated for months. Do you double down on youth development and roll out rookies like Gui Santos and Brandon Podziemski as future cornerstones? Or do you right-size the roster for a last hurrah, bringing back a proven floor spacing? Ace to light the torch once more? League insiders at the Combine reportedly overheard Warriors executives discussing the strategic value of adding a veteran presence, someone well acquainted with Kerr's motion offense, someone who commands respect in the locker room, someone whose very silhouette stepping onto the floor evokes memories of championship parades. Could that someone be the very player who drilled countless game-winning triples and whose catch-and-shoot prowess defined an era of Splash Brothers dominance? It's possible. Is it probable? Well, that's the million-dollar question keeping front offices busy into the late-night hours. Now, imagine the practical side of such a maneuver. The Warriors currently sit in a delicate salary cap dance, hovering around luxury tax territory while juggling extensions and draft obligations. Yet they hold the veteran minimum exception, a slim sliver of cap flexibility that could accommodate a former Warrior looking for a one-year hometown deal. Sources close to Golden State say there's genuine interest in maximizing that exception, not on a fringe contributor, but on a leading man whose presence guarantees instant chemistry and a lift in morale. Fans on social media have been dissecting every cryptic tweet from insiders. One post hinted that Golden State's brass reached out to the players' camp, exploring a mutual fit scenario that could blossom into something official once free agency opens. Another account referenced an informal dinner meeting between the player's agent and a top Warriors executive at a downtown San Francisco hotspot. No photos, just whispers and raised eyebrows. Could this be the foundation of a grand reunion? It's entirely within the realm of possibility. Let's talk on-court impact. Imagine running the familiar pick-and-pop sets. Steph flings a dime into the corner, and out of nowhere, the veteran sharpshooter rises and releases a picture-perfect catch-and-shoot triple. Defenses would have to choose: collapse on the paint, or respect the perimeter. And if they collapse, our mystery man sneaks into the lane for a reverse layup or offensive rebound. The very thought of that two-way threat, someone who can punish from three and hedge screens with defensive discipline, sends a chill down the spine of every Western Conference rival. But let's not forget the mix with emerging talents. Integrating a veteran into a lineup featuring young prospects requires finesse. Would Coach Kerr maximize minutes for the newcomer at the expense of developing Santos? Or could there be a balanced rotation, where our mystery veteran mentors, the youngsters, sharing playoff wisdom while still delivering on the scoreboard? Some insiders believe the pairing could be symbiotic. The veteran elevates the rookie's learning curve, and in return, their energy and athleticism give the champion a jolt of inspiration. Of course, skeptics abound. They point out that hiatus after major injuries can slow even the sharpest shooters. They note that chemistry built over months can't always translate in a matter of weeks. They argue that trading playing time for nostalgia can hamstring a team's long-term prospects. Yet in a win-now league, where a single off-season tweak can pivot an entire franchise's destiny, the lure of a proven champion, someone who's hoisted the Larry O'Brien Trophy, remains irresistible. Zoom out to the broader league implications. If the Warriors do bring back this veteran, what message does it send to rivals like the Lakers or Clippers? Would LA double down on young two-way wings in free agency? Would Sacramento pivot toward veteran shooters to counter the reunited Splash Brothers threat? Every move in the NBA is a ripple in a larger pond, and this potential signing could ignite a frenzy of counter-moves across the Western Conference. Meanwhile, back in San Francisco, season ticket holders are already debating seat upgrades for playoff games, and local sports bars have printed speculative Return of the Legend banners. The merch heads are salivating at the thought of restocked throwback jerseys, and the highlight reel creators on TikTok are preemptively queuing entrance edits and slow-motion catch-and-shoot montages. Even the Oracle Arena ghosts are stirring at the prospect of hearing that familiar swish echo once more. So here's where we stand, Warriors Nation. A tantalizing rumor of a homecoming that blends past glory with future promise, a strategic masterstroke, or a sentimental swing. Will this veteran sharpshooter lace up again in royal blue and gold? Or will Golden State stand pat and ride the youth wave? Could Chico's hot takes and local radio chatter be onto something real? Only time will tell. And that's exactly why we're glued to every tweet, every rumor, every insider leak. But before we dive into the nitty-gritty, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report so you're locked in on every twist and turn of this possible homecoming saga. Now, picture the moment when the deal finally goes through, a flurry of front office phone calls, the trade announcement, and our returning sharpshooter stepping onto the hardwood at Chase Center to a roar that drowns out even the loudest opposing fans. To make room under the salary cap, Golden State would unleash a series of strategic maneuvers, using the veteran minimum exception to slip him onto the roster, facilitating a sign-and-trade that funnels matching salary out to Milwaukee, and perhaps stretching an expiring contract to smooth out cap hits over multiple years. Imagine the precision required. The Warriors' front office architects juggling contracts with the same care and vision that Steve Kerr's squad displays on offense. Once the paperwork is inked, the real test begins on the court. How do you integrate a veteran who once carried the load for championship banners into a system built on ball movement, unselfish play, and spacing? Steph Curry would still stand at the epicenter of the offense, pulling defenders out to the perimeter, before delivering a pinpoint pass to our returning legend in the corner. In those moments, the arena would hold its breath. Could he still release that textbook 1-second catch-and-shoot triple with ice in his veins? And if defenses collapsed to prevent Curry's pull-up bombs, our veteran would have the green light to attack the basket or kick it back out for open looks, ensuring that every possession feels like a chess match where the Warriors always seem one move ahead. Defensively, his presence would be just as transformative. Even after missing time rehabilitating from injury, he's expected to bring the discipline and spacing awareness required in switch-heavy schemes. Pair him with Draymond Green's cerebral intensity and rim protection, and you have a defensive duo capable of locking down any opponent. Younger players like Santos and Brandon Podziemski would benefit immensely from practicing alongside a seasoned champion. learning the nuances of playoff-level preparation and in-game adjustments. The veterans' mentorship could accelerate their development, turning them from promising talents into reliable rotation pieces sooner than anyone anticipated. Off the court, the psychological boost of welcoming back a franchise icon can't be overstated. The energy in pregame shoot-arounds, the elevated intensity of practices, and the confidence boost during crunch-time possessions would all trace back to that one familiar face donning the royal blue and gold once again. Opposing teams would have to adjust scouting reports on the fly, accounting for his gravity as much as they do for Curry's deep ball range. The mere threat of that second scoring option could open driving lanes and create mismatches that Steve Kerr's offense is uniquely positioned to exploit. Across the Western Conference, temperature gauges would spike. The Phoenix Suns, who have banked on perimeter firepower, might scramble to add size or defensive specialists. The Los Angeles Lakers, fresh off their own off-season shakeups, could find themselves playing catch-up, pressured to lure veteran talent or shift rotation minutes dramatically. Even the upstart Minnesota Timberwolves, hungry after a surprise playoff run, would have to recalibrate their championship trajectory. Every front office in the conference would be forced to ask, if the Warriors can reunite their iconic duo, what's our answer to that challenge? Meanwhile, media pundits and podcasts would dissect every angle. Some would herald this as a stroke of genius, an organization mastering the art of reassembling its greatest pieces. Others would warn of the pitfalls, the risk of reduced playing, time for rising stars, the possibility that the veteran's shot still carries the rust of injury, or the luxury tax penalties that could hamper future moves. Yet, for many die-hard fans, the promise of reliving those golden-era highlights and blending them with a new generation's energy feels too tantalizing to ignore. As we edge closer to the opening tip of next season, the anticipation becomes palpable. Practice reports will be scrutinized for signs of chemistry, and preseason exhibitions will take on the weight of playoff battles. Every catch-and-shoot clinical strike, every emphatic defensive rotation, and every high-five salute will be cataloged as proof that this gamble was worth pulling off. And when the lights dim and the banners sway overhead, Warriors News Fan Report will be right there, bringing you the real-time pulse of Dub Nation's greatest potential rebound yet. So, Warriors, faithful, what's your take? Is this the perfect blend of nostalgia and championship calculus that will thrust Golden State back to the summit, or is it a sentimental swing that risks sidelining the franchise's promising future? Personally, I'm buzzing with excitement at the thought of hearing that familiar release sound echo through the arena once more, even as I recognize the delicate balancing act that accompanies any comeback of this magnitude. I can't wait to read your thoughts in the comments below and see how you'd weigh the reward against the risk. If you loved this deep dive, be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, and tap that notification bell, so you never miss a beat on this story. Until next time, stay golden.